So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I guess they can just play catch up. Thank you for coming to find us. We know it's a little difficult to find us this morning, so thanks for taking the time to come out here. My name is John Pickett, and I am one of the assistant directors of the Elon Academy. I'm here with our other assistant directors from the Elon Academy.
I'm Princess King.
And I'm Jenny Johnson. Forgive the sitting. Entering my third trimester, and traveling's been particularly hard this week, so I'm just gonna sit here for the session.
We're just glad you're with us. And since we have a small group in here, we'd love to hear who you are, what your role is, and what organization you're representing. Go for it.
I'm Louisa. I'm an admission advisor for Emory University. I work on the Oxford College campus, and I do scholarships and some diversity work with them.
I'm Debney Hemingway from Burnett University's Women's College in Gainesville, Georgia, and I'm just a freshman admission specialist. I just work through people in the area.
It's important work.
I'm Bob O'Brod. I'm the Executive Director for the Tennessee College Access and Success Networks. We work with college access and success programs both in higher education institutions and on nonprofit organizations in the schools.
Awesome. Well, welcome to you all. We're really happy to have you here. Elon Academy is a nonprofit college access and success program housed in Alamance County, North Carolina, affiliated with Elon University. We are not funded by tuition dollars. We are a nonprofit and we raise our own funds. And our whole goal is to partner with families in our local county of Alamance County to ensure that students who have academic promise but no family history of college or limited financial means find a college that's a good match for them. So it's not necessarily recruiting students for Elon, it's helping them find the best fit for them wherever they might be going. We entitled our presentation Sealing the Deal because for 10 years we've helped our students seal the deal of securing a spot in a college or university of their choice. In the 10 years Elon Academy has been around, we have had a 100% success rate with all the students who've completed our high school phase of our program. So we're really proud of that statistic because it really reflects how awesome our students are. And there's one of our awesome students right there. That's Manuel in one of our summer courses, herpetology. And we thought it was only appropriate to have some wild animals after last night's social at Jungle Island. As we speak about Elon Academy, you'll hear us use the word scholars. We use scholars to describe our students. So if we slip up and say scholars instead of students, just know that that's in reference to our high school students in our program. Go ahead, thanks. We, as we're designing this presentation, really thought about what we want as participants, and we're always saying we want to hear more from the people in the room than the people standing up here, and that was our goal for today. So even though we have a small group of you, we really want to hear a lot from you. So whatever you bring to this is what you'll get out of it. We want to hear from you, and these are our main things we want to talk about. We want to cover three main topics. Good morning. We want to identify and share program challenges to college access for underrepresented student populations. We want to identify and share program successes to college access for underrepresented student populations. And we also want to talk about resources. And when we say resources, we're talking more about tools. So what are some tools that are already in existence that you use to help underrepresented populations find their spot? So our overarching goal is the fourth bullet. We want you to leave feeling you have learned some new approaches, whether that comes from our work or from the work that you have seen that you share. We also want you to have connected with colleagues who have common challenges. And we also want you to be able to leave and continue the synergy and exchange of ideas of folks in here. So that's one of the reasons we've asked you to sign in at the back so that we have your contact information, because we'll create some documents out of this session and we'll email that to you so that everything we talked about today is not lost. You may wonder, well, why are we talking about challenges? I didn't come here to find out challenges. I came here to find out answers. But we feel like that's the first step. Sometimes, we may share a challenge that you have figured out a fantastic solution to, and vice versa. So we think in talking about challenges, there's an opportunity to also have a spark of, oh, if that's a challenge for you, here's a success that we've used or a tool to overcome that. We've given you note cards. So as we are going to model in a few minutes how we're going to share our successes and our challenges and our resources, if you think of particular challenges or successes or tools, resources that you have used that you want to make sure that you don't forget and share later on, feel free to write them down on there. We were going to split up into groups using the cards that you've given, but with a small group, we'll probably just do this as a group. Anything I've left out? All right, so before we start to model for you how we want to talk about challenges, successes, and resources, Mrs. Johnson, I'm thinking about y'all are our students. Jenny is going to talk to you a little bit about how we define underrepresented students in our program so we know what we're talking about. And then Princess is going to give you the briefest context of Elon Academy and the history of our program.
So we've used the term underrepresented students a lot. And so I think that the first thing that we want to do is to make sure that we're all on the same page concerning what does underrepresented students mean, because there are so many varying definitions. So when we refer to underrepresented students, we are referring to potential first-generation college students, students of color, and also students from low socioeconomic backgrounds. Even in that definition, there are varying definitions for first-generation students. And so I think it's important that we define what we mean, because sometimes you have people who will describe first-generation students as those whose parents have any history of college at all. Sometimes students are excluded if their parents don't have an associate's degree, and other times they are included. So we define first-generation students as students whose parents did not obtain a bachelor's degree directly after college. So in our recruitment process, we view students whose parents who have an associate's degree or who even earned a bachelor's degree much later in life as first-generation students, because they didn't have the initial knowledge of how to make that transition to a four-year university directly after college. So that's what we mean by first-generation students. So we included this chart to talk about what those income limits look like in Alamance County, North Carolina, and I hope that you all can see it. So our program is in Alamance County, as John mentioned, and according to Housing and Urban Development, the median income for a four-person family in Alamance County is $53,300. Most of our scholars fall somewhere between 50% and 80% of that median income. So they're either somewhere between the very low income and the extremely or low income levels. Most of our students fall between very low income and extremely low income. So if you're interested in knowing what this information is for your county, then you can go to huduser.gov. We have a very specific link included in the presentation that we'll be emailing out to you all later on, just if you want to see what those income limits are for the area that you live in. So now that we're all on the same page about what it means to be a first-generation student and an underrepresented student, Princess is going to give you just a little bit of information about Elon Academy.
Our program is a college access and success program in Alamance County. We serve high-need, high-performing students in Alamance County with little to no history, family history of a college education. And so what that means is we know that our students are often underserved on a college campus. And so our goal is to support them and their families to and through college. Next slide. We do this by continuing to strengthen our students academically. We build that around our enrichment courses in the summer program. We develop our students by civically engaging them in service projects throughout our program, as well as increasing college-going knowledge among them and their families, continuing to increase family involvement, and then also building that love for learning. Again, we mentioned this is about to be the quickest description of our program, because we can stand up here and talk for hours about Elon Academy. So phase one is our college access program. It's kind of broken up into two sections, which is our summer program and our year-round program. The summer program is actually the entry point for all of our students. It's also kind of the heart and soul of our program. And so each summer before their 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year, our scholars come and spend 4 weeks on Elon's campus with us. During that time, they participate in academic enrichment courses, not for credit, not for grades, just continue to nurture that love for learning. We also have a college planning course. They participate in other field trips, cultural activities, and we also do college visits during this time. During the academic year, we continue that college planning class, and they come and visit with us one Saturday a month, as well as their service and family programming. So we invite their families to come 4 of those Saturdays throughout the entire academic year. So we continue to kind of use that information that we are teaching their students to kind of keep their parents also at the same level, so they are also learning as well. Once they graduate high school, they will then move into phase 2 of our program, which is the transitions program. This is a weekend that is dedicated specifically to our high school graduates. We go to a campsite in North Carolina, and we spend time focusing on how to successfully transition them into first-year students. So this is also a time where they meet their peer leaders, which are upperclassmen Elon Academy scholars who will serve as their mentor for the first year while they're in school. So we have sessions that talk about how to use conflicts, how to navigate those conflicts using your resources, learning those different terms that you'll hear as a college student. What is the bursar's office, the registrar's office, learning when to ask for help, using your resources on campus, and then also using your mentors as well. The phase 3 is the third and final phase, our college success. We mentioned that we support our students to and through college. One of the common misconceptions about our program is that we are kind of grooming our Elon Academy students to become Elon students, which is not the case, because we know that Elon University isn't always the best fit for all of our scholars. So we continue to encourage them to do extensive research to make sure they select the best school that fits them. So the college success phase involves myself and Mrs. Johnson. We do a college visit. We provide academic and social support for our students as well as those peer leaders that I mentioned. And we visit the schools where our students attend. During that visit, we meet one-on-one with them. We're talking about how are you doing? Are you eating? Are you going to class? Are you meeting with your advisor? How does your schedule look? Is it setting you up for success or failure? Just making sure that they are adjusting to this new lifestyle that they've taken on. We also meet with faculty and staff on campus, so if they are in a specific scholarship program or involved in student support services or first gen program, we like to meet with them just so we can have an advocate on campus. So if we aren't able to be there to support the student kind of face-to-face and one-on-one, we have a person to contact and say, hey, you know, student A is having an issue, can they please come and talk to you just to kind of vent and talk it out for today. If it's our first time there on that campus, we take a tour so that we know the lay of the land and the resources available on campus so that if they reach out to us, we can direct them to the right resource.
So those are the most pressing challenges that we faced in supporting underrepresented students. And Princess will talk a little about some of the successes that we've had in supporting underrepresented students.
So over the course of 10 years, we have done a lot of things that we're very, very proud of. So as you can see, we had a hard time kind of coming up with this short list. So we're going to just kind of go over a few of them. John already mentioned the application process, which I think is amazing because we have so many stipulations on us that we really need to pick and select the students that need our resources the most. So John heads up that process and has done an amazing job with really streamlining the application process. Our next one is our 3-year planning curriculum. We are the college planning team. We have a 3-year college planning curriculum that allows us to kind of guide our college planning class. So John teaches the first year students, which are our rising sophomores. I teach the juniors, and Jeannie teaches our seniors. And this curriculum is very flexible. We love it because it's a living, breathing document. If we come to professional development or conferences and kind of speak with other people and learn different things that they're doing that's working for their students, we're definitely flexible enough to add that into our curriculum to see if it's going to work for our scholars. Especially if there's something that hasn't worked so much in the past, we're definitely willing to kind of move and transition those things out. But it really helps to guide our college planning class that we'll be starting in the summer and continue that through the academic year. So we focus on things like interview skills and essay writing and developing their college list, reading and different behaviors that are going to make them successful as college students. So these are all things that we continue to build on in our college curriculum. One of our goals for our college curriculum is to actually have a physical curriculum of lesson plans that we can then share with other companies and other CBOs and organizations so that we can use. So this is an example of things that we've done in our classroom that we can hopefully be a resource to you all. So that is our goal in the next year or two.
It's only taken 10 years
Yeah,
to get all the things right. How many years did it take to put it together?
Jenny and I are are one of the newest on the staff, and so we're just continuing to learn different things that work for our class, and we keep learning new things, so and things keep changing. So once we get a groove going, something else comes in and changes. So hopefully we'll have a good flow and continue to go ahead and write some of our lesson plans that have worked best for our scholars.
That's probably what we're asked for the most.
Yeah.
We're asked, this curriculum sounds great, because we have the curriculum in a document, and they want to know how do you roll out that curriculum, and we say, come see us. Come see us teach, and you can see what we do.
Next is our near-peer mentoring. As I mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned before, we have Elon University students that serve as mentors for our high school students, and they're called College Access Team Mentors. They are all assigned a group of maybe, 4 or 5 students per mentor, and they serve as a mentor during the entire time while they're in the high school portion of our program. And I think this is one of the most valuable relationships that we have because they build a very close rapport with our students. They are able to get information from them that we do not. And it's just, I don't know, I don't sound cheesy, but it's just like a little magical experience because a lot of them have these really, really tight relationships that they don't want to change CAT mentors. They don't want their CAT mentors to graduate. It kind of really becomes like a big brother, big sister to these kids, and it's really amazing. I think that the mentors get just as much from the experience as our high school students do. It is a paid position. They are able to kind of go and develop their own schedule to meet with their scholars, even over a snack. They kind of are able to develop their own way of meeting with their students. So I think it's a really cool model that we have, and our mentors really, really love it. Wiki Reporting. So our Wiki Reporting system is an online tool that we use to keep record. It is gold. We have a lot of scholars, there's a lot of moving pieces going on, and it's impossible for us to know what's going on with everyone all the time. So in all our interactions that our CAT mentors have and that we have with our scholars, we report it on the wiki. So if there's a text message, an email, a conversation, if we meet them somewhere out in the community, we put it on the Wiki Reporting system, and we all get notifications when someone has updated their wiki per scholar. So it's amazing. It helps us to keep record of what's going on. Of course, we're not able to be everywhere all the time, so it helps us to kind of be informed of what's going on in our students' lives and their families' lives. It also helps us to see patterns in their behavior. So if a scholar is I don't know, either not misbehaving, but are struggling in a course, or have had recent activities with either a CAT mentor or a staff member that we are all kind of seeing, maybe this is the issue that we should address. It's helpful for us to kind of go back to the wiki and look at this and use it as an example to say, hey, you've had this interaction with this person and the same interaction with the staff member, maybe we should address this. And it gives us a little leverage and proof to use. So it absolutely helps us to stay, to protect ourselves and protect the scholars. So at any time, we can always go back and use it as a reference. So the wiki has been a really, really important resource for our program. And I believe it's also free. Yes?
With the mentors, you said that's a paid position.
Mm-hmm.
Is that paid through y'all or through the university?
Yeah.
I want to correct something I said a minute ago. It's actually $15,000 for phase 1 per student,
Right.
not $1,500. I misspoke.
That's
So talking of money, yeah. So they are paid through our fundraising dollars. When we can carve out some extra time, I really would love to do some research on the benefits of this mentoring relationship on the mentor side. Because we do exit interviews with them, and the students who are mentors talk about how this has been transformative in terms of their appreciation of diversity. It's been transformative on a personal level, on a professional level. Many of our mentors are going into the education field. It's been instrumental in them. One student said next interview, I've learned more about how to interact with my students and see them as a full student as opposed to just a classroom entity through this program that I have through the School of Education. I get goosebumps. I mean, they were so sincere about it.
Yeah.
So we really want to get that data together and present it to the university to say, hey, university, can you pay their wages?
I was just going to ask that question. Couldn't it be a work study?
Yeah.
I mean,
So far, the answer from our university has been no. But we want it to be yes.
Still working on
because
it.
they don't think it can happen, or because they just don't want it to happen? Because, I mean, it can happen.
It is feasible, it's a choice that's been made.
Okay,
Yeah, by people who have
got it.
more authority than we do. But we want to push back with some evidence and some research because during the year we have about 50 student workers who work for us in some capacity. In addition to the CAP mentors, we have tutors that we provide, there are summer mentors. So that's a nice slice of students, particularly when a lot of them are education students or, unsurprisingly, they're first generation college students themselves who gravitate toward this program because they know what the struggle is like. So we would love to get that funding to come some other place than our pockets. And I'm optimistic that one day we'll get there.
Yeah.
CAP mentoring has been in place, I began it when I joined, that was 5 years ago. So it's relatively new, yeah.
One of our last successes, and we'll go really quickly, is our counselor on staff. So we are very, very fortunate to have a therapist on staff. When working with underrepresented population, they come with an additional level of concerns, an additional level of life experiences. And on top of our scholars being teenagers dealing with, regular teenager stuff, they're dealing with family issues and other things that are happening in their lives. That is just a lot to take on. And so with our counselor on staff, they are able to meet with her one-on-one and kind of talk through those things, develop a plan to cope. She's also available to meet with their families as well. So just having her on staff has been a huge benefit to our program and to the community. She also is able to kind of talk with families with different resources that they need. So if emergencies come up throughout the year, if they are needing groceries or needing furniture or moving resources, Katie is really great about connecting them with community resources in our area to help with those emergency situations. So I think that's one of the things that we benefit and value the most, and also kind of sets us apart from other programs that are like us. I don't think it's uncommon for other programs to have an on-staff mental health person. So I think we are, our challenges. John is we're going to go through and hopefully hear from you all to talk about some challenges that you all have and the experience.
So you can kind of disregard the information right here. This is when we're usually going to have 3 groups, and we have 2 groups, and this is the group right here. So from your various positions, I'd love to hear, what's your name and where are you from?
Yes,
what do you do?
of course. My name is Julie Kirk, and I am an admissions counselor at Reinhardt University in Northern Georgia.
Awesome. So it seems like we're mostly you guys are from the university side of things. So we would love to hear from you. We'll start with challenges. What do you see or have experienced as some of the major challenges in helping this population of students secure a spot on your campuses?
Affordability, because we're a private liberal arts school, so it's $40,000 a year for the health science program, which is what everybody wants to do, pretty much everybody. So, yeah, affordability.
Yeah, we have issues with affordability as well. And I think, because we admit a good number of students that fall into these populations, but they're typically pretty high achieving, and so they're getting admitted at other really great institutions. So getting them to pick us has been a big issue for us.
That's great for us to hear on our end, because you're affirming and you're also adding to some of what we don't think about is that on the other end that people want our scholars, and it might be you have to provide a lot of support for our scholars, but then they choose somewhere else. And it's important for our scholars to think about what support lies on the other side of that acceptance. And I think that's to me that's the key to getting them to choose your institution is having that support that comes after the admittance. And some schools are better at that than others. Other challenges that you all have experienced?
This falls along the lines of affordability and financial struggles and that sort of thing, but Reinhardt doesn't provide a single dollar in need-based aid. So all of our scholarship money is awarded just based upon a student's GPA and test scores. And yeah, so that's a bit of a struggle.
That's solely merit-based.
Solely merit-based and talent-based.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It kind of falls in I've been doing this for way too long. But it's the declining number of opportunities that the students have in post-secondary. Because I mean, if you go back to when I started working in this in the 90s, there were so many different options and opportunities because Pell Grant was
Right.
stronger, institutional aid was
Yeah.
stronger, and you know, over that time, I mean, to see these, you know, the number of colleges, you know, became fewer and fewer, especially if you went outside of the public institution realm and you were really trying, you know, really trying to get this student population to small private liberal arts colleges where you knew they were going to be supported better, where they were going to have better retention rates, better graduation rates. That's the
Another thing I would add is, so at Reinhardt, actually a third of our students are students of color. I don't know a whole lot about like our socioeconomic and first generation student population, but a good amount of our students are students of color, but really like that has happened completely accidentally. There's no real like intentionality in recruiting and enrolling students from these populations. And so even though like, you know, people come to campus and they're like, dang, this is a really diverse campus. And I'm like, yes, it is, and I'm thankful for that, but it's not an intentional effort. And so institutionally, it's not something that we're committed to.
And that's amazing, because so many times you hear the opposite.
Right.
Elon's strategic plan right now, our number one bullet on our strategic plan is a commitment to, unprecedented commitment to diversity.
Right.
And we can't seem to make it happen.
Right.
So the fact that you're able to make that happen organically, I think that's amazing.
Well, it's kind of, and this is a whole other tangent I could get off on, but I would say of the third of our students that are students of color, probably 85% of them are athletes. So there's some issues there too, but.
Well, and that's, I mean, it seems like every college is doing this huge push for, focus on diversity. And so we're all going for the same students.
Which is already small, unfortunately.
Which is already small.
Yeah, we're trying to inspire them to aspire to college.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the more exciting things to talk about. What successes have you seen in your roles or your institutions or organizations, your community, that have really supported and helped these students to make sure that they get into college and are successful once they're there?
I would say overall, Reinhardt's application process is pretty welcoming to students from underrepresented populations. I mean, our application, we don't charge an application fee, and all we need is their application, their transcripts, and their test scores. We don't require an essay or anything like that. So I think that is easier for students, especially first generation students, to navigate.
Awesome, thank you.
I think that you know, I've seen some school districts in particular who have realized or come to realize that college counseling or the like that, you know, is definitely going on in your program is a unique skill set that does not exist within the school counselor realm. And so seeing some school superintendents and directors kind of creatively rethink their budget and trying to put some money and resources towards specific school counseling or college counseling of this kind. Or you see nonprofit programs that are built in, you know, out of different places like you know, one in Tennessee that we have, which you know, I think this is kind of a crazy place to create a college access program. But it was out of the economic development arm of this rural area because they realized that they lacked a workforce, and so they built a college access program in economic development.
That's incredible. Out of the box thinking.
Right, yeah.
I love it though.
Right.
I think in ours, I mean, we've recently started initiatives to focus on diversity, so we're doing a fly-in program this week. But I think overall, there's been kind of a collective effort to, for the whole team to really focus on recruiting and admitting and yielding these students. And then I also work with a committee with, you know, financial aid, campus life, a lot of people to support the students once they're actually on our campuses. So that's another relatively new initiative. So we're working towards the successes. We're just not quite there yet. But I think there's definitely a mentality and you know, an intentionalness to it, if that makes sense.
And sometimes I think there's a wide divide between CBOs like ourselves and admissions. Particularly if the university is somewhere far away and you have someone that covers our area, they'll know the schools, but they may not know the CBOs. So I think that's something that on the admissions side, learning what CBOs might be in your area that support college access and making those connections, because every year we got 25 graduates who are diverse, low income, but high achievers. So that's a great partnership that both sides work towards making that a priority, can really benefit this population of students, I think. Princess does a great job when she goes to our different universities
One of the
making
things
connections.
Jenny and I work on is helping to, what we want to continue to do is connecting our students to specific people once they get to their campus. So like if there is a student support services office on their campus, we'd like to say, hey, our student is coming to your university. Can you please kind of stand in the gap for them to make sure that they are supported, because it's not just finances in supporting them. They need to be physically supported. Like they need to have someone they can go to and ask questions of, or just say, hey, continue to encouragement to keep going. They need that because they're used to this familial community that we have here at Elon, or close family connections with their family. So once they go away to college and they lose that, that's a huge part of the success. So it's really important.
Like one cool thing about ours that we have found a lot of successes, like when we actually sell them on the idea of coming to a women's college, it's like when they get there, there is a supportive atmosphere. Like you always see our president on campus, like he really cares. You'll see high up administrators, you'll see just a faculty and staff that really want to see you succeed, which really does help with the retention rate. But then we're still fighting affordability on that too. But it's just, that's something that's worked for us with having just a joint effort, and also having our actual students who are current college students to actually have leadership positions on campus to encourage those people to get involved so they're not feeling left out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's something that kind of happens organically with us. I mean, Oxford has less than 1,000 students, so every student can be supported, and we're able to do that in an easy way because we see them all the time and we get to know them. So yeah, I think there's benefits definitely in having that small environment.
And I think in our experience, if you can make the school affordable, that feeling of I belong on this campus, I'll be supported wins out every time. As long as the school is affordable, so that's important. And we direct our students to think that way. Think about the field. Push aside the prestige or the vision that your family has of you going this place or that place. Well, let's move on in our last couple of minutes to talk about resources or tools